Hey, welcome to the Summer of Legalization 2003. It's June 19th here in fabulous Toronto, the first legal jurisdiction to have legal marijuana in the Western world. So everybody watching this video, come to Toronto in the summer of 2003. You'll love it.
That's great. It starts with an earthquake.
Wait for a gust of wind.
Lenny Bruce is not afraid. I have a hurricane. Listen to yourself. Churn world serves its own needs. Dummy serve your own needs. Beat it up and not speak. Grunt no strength. The ladder starts to clatter with fear. Fight down. High wire and a fire. Represented 7 games in the government for hire and a combat site. Left and west are coming in a hurry with the furies beating down your neck. Team my team reporters babble Trump. Tether crop. Look at that. Low plane. Fine. Then. Overflow. Population common food, but it'll do. Save yourself. Serve yourself. World serves its own needs. Listen to your heart. Bleed. Dummy with the rapture and the reverend and the right. Right. You patriotic slam fight. Right. Like feeling. Pretty sight. It's the end of the world as we know it. It's the end of the world as we know it. It's the end of the world as we know it. And I feel fine. 6 o'clock TV hour, don't get caught in foreign towers, slash and burn, return. Listen to yourself churn. Lock it in, uniform and book, burning blood, letting every motive escalate. Automotive incinerate, light a candle, light a motor, step down, watching heel crush. This means no fear, cavalier, renegade, steer clear. A tournament of lies. Offer me solutions, offer me alternatives, and I decline. It's the end of the world as we know it. It's the end of the world as we know it. It's the end of the world as we know it. I feel fine. It's the end of the world as we know it. It's the end of the world as we know it. It's the end of the world as we know it. I feel fine. The other night I drifted nice, continental drifted by mountain, sit in a line. Leonard Bernstein, Leonard Brasnap, Lenny Bruce and Lester Banks, birthday party, cheesecake, jelly bean, boom, symbiotic, patriotic, slam button, nap, right? It's the end of the world as we know it. It's the end of the world as we know it. It's the end of the world as we know it. And I feel fine. It's the end of the world as we know it. It's the end of the world as we know it. It's the end of the world as we know it. And I feel fine. It's the end of the world as we know it. It's the end of the world as we know it. It's the end of the world as we know it. And I feel fine. It's the end of the world as we know it. It's the end of the world as we know it. It's the end of the world as we know it. And I feel fine. People try to put us down. About my generation. Just because we can tell about my generation. Things ain't too awful. Talking about my generation. About time before I get old. Talking about my generation. My generation, baby. Why don't you all fade away? About my generation. Don't try to dig what we all say. Talking about my generation. Not trying to cause a big sensation. Talking about my generation. Talking about my
Ontario to possess anywhere in Ontario, and it is permissible under law to smoke marijuana anywhere where it is permissible to smoke tobacco in Ontario. You may have cannabis clubs and organize and associate with marijuana free from police or government interference for about 5 more months at the very minimum. At that point in time, the federal government will decriminalize marijuana, or the Court of Appeal will come out as late as November. But for 5 months, and especially this summer, Ontario is the freest jurisdiction in the Western world. And I encourage you, along with myself, does anybody need any marijuana?
Yeah.
Hey, where's Tim Meehan? Right here. Hey, Tim. Oh, good,
Tim's
good.
with me
Go
too,
see that
honey.
guy.
Don't lose.
So anyway,
where's
Tim? You'll be responsible for making sure your friends, if you want that responsibility. Sure. Okay. I brought some brochures with you that clarifies the current law, and believe me, despite what police departments may say, you are absolutely authorized under a Superior Court decision by Stephen Rogan on May 16th. You are authorized to possess marijuana anywhere in the jurisdiction of Ontario. And as I have said, it is legal. And it is the only place in the Western world where you are permitted to do so. Now we have 10 minutes to 4:20. I see some people are starting early. I brought some very good marijuana along.
What's
and I hope
420 mean, Mark?
420 is the universal and international understood signal that it's time to smoke a joint. It's time to celebrate your freedom. And it's time to take back what is rightfully ours, first-class citizenship in this country. We have been denigrated and had a pogrom against us for 35 years, during which time 1 million Canadians were convicted and given criminal records, which I urge the federal government to expunge and eradicate from the records. These criminal records prevent people from traveling to the United States, being bonded, getting jobs, having their children in court custody disputes. Having a marijuana conviction, archaic as it is a great inhibitor to the forward progress of any human being in North America. And in Ontario, since it is no offense known to law, that's the official words, not known to law in Ontario as of May 16th, you are urged to exercise your rights as given to you by the Ontario Superior Court, and make sure that this summer you tell everybody around the world to come to Ontario, celebrate a unique freedom available only here in Ontario. And by the way, with SARS and all the related difficulties we've had in Ontario, this is the ideal panacea to bring hundreds of thousands of tourists here for the fine Canadian marijuana that circulates throughout Ontario, and that you are permitted to smoke with friends, in groups, in cafes, and I believe there are a number of cafes opening in the days ahead in Toronto and other parts of Ontario, Ottawa coming, Toronto this week I believe. Here, sir, distribute those brochures. Here. For people. And it's not 420 yet, and I've got a nice pipe full to say 420, so get those joints circulated that I brought there. Tim, do you have those joints there? Okay, give them out, Tim, to whoever you see, or if that matters, give them to me, I'll give them out. This is the finest marijuana you can get in British Columbia. I have wait for this. That's right. People of Toronto. Mark. Don't hurt anybody. There you go.
Oh, thanks, man.
Okay, now. We're sharing amongst friends here. There you go. One prove the journalist would like one. There you go. Just to prove you were here. The evidence. In fact, every journalist smoked marijuana so they know exactly how harmless it is. Dude. Can't reach.
Come on, Mark.
I didn't. There you go.
Oh, come on, Mark. You said you bring the autograph calendar, the big sheet.
Fucking blueberries.
I brought stuff. Hey, Mark. There you go. Whoops, sorry.
You don't remember sending me the email, do you?
Fuck, Mark. Look me up, dude.
Yeah, okay, Mark. I'll go the other way, guys.
No, I did bring a magazine, but it's just not right here.
That's the ball you hit on the episode, man.
So we've got a countdown for 8 minutes. I just want to tell you what your obligations are. The federal government, they have proposed something called decriminalization. In fact, it is recriminalization. Since there is no marijuana law in Ontario at this point in time, anything the federal government does to propose fines, which are wrong, or any kind of punitive measure, that is recriminalization. Currently, we live in a free environment in Ontario, unique in the Western world. Every bit of legislation proposed by the federal government is a recriminalization. You must oppose it. When Parliament reconvenes this fall, there will be pressure from the troglodytes and dinosaurs in all the parties to make the law punitive again so that we go to jail. And by the way, I've been arrested 10 times, and I've been jailed 8 times, and I've been raided 5 times. And believe me, it is an indignity to all humans to ever have to suffer any consequence for smoking marijuana. And by the way, let's not acknowledge... Well, that's another thing too. 14 years the federal government proposes for marijuana grow operations that have more than 50 plants. And I must tell you, I don't know a single person who grows fewer than 50 plants. So that would be, we have 95,000 marijuana grow operations in British Columbia alone, employing over 200,000 people. And 200,000 people are now at risk for a sentence that is greater than the 10 years that you can get for conspiracy to commit terrorism. It's a greater offense in the books than you can get for aggravated assault, for burglary, for break and enter, and for a host of dangerous and myriad crimes. 14 years proposed for growing a beautiful plant like marijuana, the plant that Shakespeare smoked, the plant that Carl Sagan smoked every day of his waking life, the plant that every musician in your CD collection has smoked for the creative impulse that has provided you with art, with literature, with music. Let's face it, the most brilliant people in our society are the marijuana smokers, and the evidence exists in every walk of life that the most creative geniuses are marijuana smokers. And I offer a test to anybody who disagrees. Divide your CD collection into 2 places. Put the people who have smoked marijuana and recorded on one side, and put the people who have not smoked marijuana and recorded on another side. And then you have to choose which one of these 2 collections you would keep if you were on a desert island. And I assure you, if you get rid of the Hendrix, the Beatles, the Stones, the Who, the Doors, and every other major pop, rock, jazz, blues band who smoked pot, you will end up with Pat Boone. And we're not so sure about him. The Minister of Justice has smoked. And what a hypocrisy. If he had a criminal record on his resume for smoking marijuana as a university student, he could not be Minister of Justice today. And in fact, Prime Ministers Kim Campbell had smoked marijuana. Prime Minister Trudeau, and I have this from Justin, his own son, to whom I'm acquainted, smoked hashish and was an advocate of legalization after he was out of office. Many, many premiers, including Glenn Clark and Ralph Klein, have smoked marijuana. Many prime ministers of this country and others have smoked. Goodness gracious, the last president before George Bush had smoked marijuana. And it seems like you can't trip over someone in high elected office who hasn't smoked marijuana. So what are they telling us? They've all smoked marijuana. They know it's harmless. The most brilliant people in our society who've recorded, written, filmed, and created great scientific works, the bard of all English literature. In fact, the word Christ, as in Jesus Christ, means the anointed one. And there is adequate proof to substantiate that Jesus bathed in cannabis resins and oils and thus became the anointed one. So even as far back as our religious iconography and our idols, and our messiahs and our great writers, our great musicians are all practitioners of the cannabis culture, and you must be proud of yourself and resist all attempts to recriminalize marijuana. And to that degree, let me smoke some of my finest British Columbia marijuana.